Hello again, Dirt Road FPV for Life here. Just giving you a quick review on my custom built Iflightih3. This is the dual 20x20 stack offered by Iflight. As you know, the HD scene on the micros has really been getting popular lately, and I jumped on the bandwagon and built a custom iFlight here. Let me tell you a little bit about it. As you can see, the flight stack itself is the new HGLRC F420. This is the one with the plugs instead of the pins. You know, it's pretty big flight controller for a 20x20. I thought I'd have a lot more room in here than I ended up with, and turns out it's a little bit bigger than your normal flight controller VTX stack, so I had to do some creative things. One of the things you can see is the capacitor. I custom made this, drew up this TPU printed part to hold the cap, as well as the antenna. The antenna is a little stubby, found on Amazon. Decent little antenna. The flight controller itself is soft mounted. You can see the blue grommets in there. I actually stole those from a diatone Mamba that I had laying around. And then the Pyro Flip soft stack mounts are on the bottom as well. So that's the flight controller. Move on up to the VTX up here. The VTX is the Wolfwhoop Q4 Pro. It's switchable, 0 to 600 milliwatts. It has both the IPEX and the MMCX. I didn't want my antenna sticking out the end, so I ended up using my IPEX connector to RSMA. So yeah, I like it because it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. I did hot glue that guy on there just in case. Speaking of the VTX, I had some video noise signals to start with, and I do have inline a 370 microfarad capacitor inline on the VTX. It seemed to clean it up a little bit. Just below the VTX here, I'm running the new Split Mini V2. As you know, it's a HD option for those of us that don't want to run the GoPros on top. So a little HD 20x20 stackable there. So I got my RunCam Split V2 here, and then the VTX, and then the ESCs and the flight controller. I did end up, the flight controller has a 3 amp back on it, so I was able to run the Split Mini directly from the 5-volt pad on the flight controller. I did a lot of different trial and error on the best way to get a clean video signal. Those of you that have run the Split Minis before know that they're a little bit noisy, and I found the best way to do it in this case is to run my stack from the VTX is going to the VBAT, and it has that capacitor in, and then the RunCam Split Mini is powered off the 5-volt rail. And it seems really clean for a Split Mini anyway, and those of you that have a Split Mini know exactly what I'm talking about. Onto the receiver. It's tucked way up in there. Can't really see him, but got an XM Plus that I'm running. And then out to the motors, I'm running the HGLRC 1407 3600 kV. They're Nachi motor, but they're really smooth, as you'll see in the flight footage here in a minute. I did take a minute and printed some TPU soft mounts for those motors to help mitigate some of that vibration that's associated with some of these Split Mini designs, particularly this one. The TPU parts that you see other than my soft mounted motors appear at the front, and I'll put the link to this in the video description. This particular canopy was designed by Deerslayer1. He did a really good job. I like the XT30 right here plug-in because this is a top mounted design. Really liked it. He originally designed it for the Caddx Turtle, which I do have both version 1 and version 2 of those well on different builds. But I wanted to use something TPU to try to isolate some of those vibrations getting to the camera, and it's done a really good job. So shout out there to Deerslayer1, and I'll put that link in Thingiverse. Here on the back, you can see that I did build or drew out and printed a custom antenna slash capacitor mount. This thing was so tight, there was really nowhere to put that big old capacitor that HDLRC provides. So I drew this and somewhere to mount my antenna through, as well as a little shelf for my capacitor there. Nothing other really special about it, except I really love the flight characteristics. I really like the top mounted battery on it. I am running a Tattoo 4S 850 milliamp hour. I'm getting about a little over 5-minute flight time with that, and I could probably, all up weight on this thing is right at 298 grams with that 4S 850 on it. I could save 30 grams and go with a 650, but I really like the flight time. I really like the flight characteristics. It has a lot of weight to it and a lot of inertia when you're doing some of the freestyle stuff that I do with it. So I'm just going to leave it like it is. I've got a Gecko build that I'm working on right now. And I'm going to try to build just a little bit lighter. You hopefully see that in the next couple weeks. So again, 192 grams dry, 298 grams with that 4S Tattoo 850. I'm running. I tried about every prop in my arsenal, racecrafts, all the gym fans that I had, and I settled on the Hulky 3052. Really nice prop for what I'm trying to do. So, and I think the little soft battery pad here I stole out of a extra frame that I had. Can't see it. Let's see if we can get it in there. Yeah, the frame that I had for the extra frame for the Diatone GTM3. I stole the little silicone mat off that. So that is my custom IH3. Now let's go to the flight footage.